welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to talk week 5 of this NFL season. Carolina Panthers style, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Jerry, I am very excited about this game.
I am too. I want to get that bad taste of the Dallas third quarter out of my mouth. And hopefully the Panthers do too.
Yeah. Every third quarter, really.
Yeah.
This season. Let's get, except for the one in the Texans, let's get them all out of our mouth because they've all been pretty bad.
Yeah. Stephen Gilmore trade. It was a nice Stephon Gilmore. He was a nice palate cleanser, a little swig of water, switch it around, that nice trade. Made you feel good, kind of cleaned it out. Now this game, I'm hoping to go for some dessert. I'm hoping to taste some chocolate now.
All right, let's kick it off with the injury reports as we usually do. Jerry alluded to it earlier. Shaq Thompson did not practice. He will not play. That has been pretty much determined here. Cam Irving did not practice. Is he officially out as well?
He's not officially out, but everything I'm seeing is he's not going to be playing.
Sounds like it, yeah. Someone who may be playing, Christian McCaffrey, listed as a limited participant in practice yesterday and today. He also had his press conference today, I think the first time since he got hurt, and he sounds like he wants to play. So they're going to have to take it out of his hands, really, if they don't want him to play, because if it's up to him, he's out there.
Yeah, and honestly, with that type of a hamstring injury, they linger so much that I really hope that they err on the side of caution. I know Philadelphia is still a good team and everything, but come on, man. It's this is beginning of the season. If we want to make a playoff push, if he's not a full 100%, I say sit him out. You need him for the backstretch. You need him for the playoff push.
Yeah, I agree. And we don't know the severity, right? Mm-hmm. We don't know. He said it's a completely different injury than he had last year, right? So maybe it wasn't as bad. Maybe it was just it hurt real bad that night. He's had 10 days, right? It actually more than 10 days. He's had 17 days or something since he hurt it. So that's over 2 weeks. I mean, maybe he's healed.
I hope so.
See. Yeah, we'll see.
My fantasy team really wants him to be healed, but...
Yeah, I know. Everybody's fantasy team that has him, and then everyone who's facing him doesn't. Yetur Gross-Matos, full practice.
Good
news. John Miller, full practice. Hassan Reddick, full practice. Matt Paradis did not practice. He is listed with an illness, so hopefully just a
little flu-like
or something.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of offensive linemen there. I mean, luckily,
John Miller's full practice. Matt Paradis hopefully will get healthy.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have like you said, have to go without Cam Irving. But let's try out Brady Christensen. Let's see what we've got here.
That's who's getting the reps at first team, from what I'm hearing. So yeah, I agree. Let's test them out. I mean, if that's what
why not?
At this point, you can't play much worse than the offensive line has already been playing. It's time to get Deontay Brown out there and get Christensen out there. I mean, John Miller's been struggling too. Everybody on the line has struggled, including Taylor Moton. But Taylor Moton's been the best out of the struggling group.
He struggled the least, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe even think about moving Moton to left and Christensen. I bet, if Christensen starts at left tackle and struggles, I could see them shaking the lineup in the
during game. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they got to find a combination that works.
But
speaking of, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but this week, if Deontay Brown is a healthy scratch again, I am gonna be livid because he looked good in preseason. Yeah, he's only a guard, but our guards haven't been good, and Fletcher Cox out there. So let's be real.
Yeah, Lane Johnson out.
Yeah,
DNP. That's a big one. Personal matter, it says so, but this is 2 games in a row he's out, so no clue what's going to happen with him. Jason Kelsey, their center, full practice after did not practice at all yesterday. They've got him listed with rest. It looks like he's fine. Vontae Maddox full practice. Quez Watkins, full practice. Jordan Malata, limited practice. And Darius Slay, another personal matter, did not practice. So a couple starters there, a few starters.
Yeah, like you said, Lane Johnson, that's a big one. He's a good player, and especially with our pass rush, because everything I'm seeing is he's not playing this week. So
yeah. Now Fletcher Cox has not played well so far this season, so he's been very vocal about the fact that he needs to come back and play better. So.
Well, I mean, this O-line is a good one to beat up on, especially with their injuries. So
it is.
I'll put it this way: I'm still worried about him, even if he's having an off season.
Oh yeah, you have to be worried about him. Yeah, and honestly, one of the few on the team that I'm worried about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you look at this team on paper, and really even watching them in their games, they're not super scary.
No, the defense is real. I was shocked when I was kind of looking over this Eagles team for this preview. I was like, usually they have a solid defense. I know it's a new coaching staff and everything, but man, they are really struggling. I mean,
yeah,
whew.
They've got some good individual players. Like Darius Slay is a good corner. Fletcher Cox, obviously, a stellar player when he's right. Javon Hargrave, good player.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, even the good players are not playing well so far. So it'll be interesting to see. Panthers, by the way, 5-7 all time against Philadelphia, but they did win their last game, 21-17 in 2018. All right, CBDX.com. Not your average CBD company, Jerry. We've all tried CBD. None of it's like the real deal, except CBDX.com. They are the real deal. They ship right to your front door. 39 states, Jerry, have it legal, I believe, to ship to, and North Carolina is one of them. Right now, our listeners, 20% off of any order at CBDX.com with promo code MEOW. What do they have, Jerry? They have gummies. Delicious gummies. They have amazing flavorful flour. They've got vape pens and cartridges. All the products look, smell, and feel the same, and they all actually work. Jerry, CBDX.com is the future.
Yep. And don't use CBDX products before driving, operating heavy machinery, or getting tested. CBDX.com. Enter promo code MEOW for 20% off all orders and a special gift. All right. The Panthers are 3-point favorites over the Eagles at home. I'm kind of surprised it's only 3 points. That's the home field advantage.
It started off at 4.5 early in the week, so it has come down. A lot of money coming on the Eagles.
Huh. I hope they don't know anything and we don't.
Yeah, over-under is 45, which is pretty low, but these are two kind of defense-first teams.
Are they?
So,
are they?
Well, Vegas thinks so. I mean, the Panthers have scored 28 points as a high mark so far this season. And I'm not sure about the Eagles, but they're not scoring a lot.
Eagles average 23.5 points per game. That's 17th. And Panthers offense averages 24.2. That being said, their defense...
that almost adds up right to 45.
Yeah.
Close. So, 47.
They have one of the worst defenses in the league right now, giving up 26.5. So...
And the Panthers are 16.5?
Yeah. So one of my key matchups is the Eagles' run defense against the Panthers' run game. If CMC can't go, Chuba Hubbard has to step up. Their defense gives up 150 yards per game. 31st in the NFL. Panthers only average 3.7 yards per attempt. That's one of the worst in the league. So whoever is running the ball has to do better. They have to get going on this porous run defense.
Yeah, it feels like this is a good game to get healthy in the run game, especially if CMC is healthy, because like you said, the Panthers have not averaged a lot of yards per carry. They are just carrying the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So they're getting a lot of yards, but it's on a ton of carries. Of course, last week, not a lot of carries because they were down. But, yeah, CMC has averaged over 20 carries a game, I think, in the first 2 games at least when he was healthy. So, but he's not averaged a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing some big plays in the run game, more first downs in the run game. Getting a lot of third and shorts, which is good. The Panthers are converting a lot of those, converting at a pretty high rate, really. And definitely want to see more of that. But, yeah, let's talk about CMC real quick. I mean, we mentioned him earlier when we talked about the injury reports, but do you want him to play?
Do I want Christian McCaffrey to play?
If it was your choice right now, you have to make the choice without knowing anything more than you know right now. Does he plays, yes or no?
No. I would say no. Because I'm looking long term. I'm really hoping a playoff push. And putting him out there just with a hamstring injury, I would want him rest. Again, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know all the doctors and all that. So I would say no.
Of course. No. And I don't think we would ever know that, really. So I would agree with you. Like, just going through what we went through last year. Yeah. Where every time he tried to come back, he got hurt again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't want that to happen.
And Chuba Hubbard did not look bad last week. It was just...
He just didn't get a lot of work.
He had 16 carries because that third quarter, we went down 21. They had to abandon the run. Rightfully so.
Yep.
So, now, moving on. The Eagles' run game is very good. They average 5.4 yards per attempt. That's 9th in the league. I mean, they're good. They are a really good run game. But the thing is, it's mostly from Jalen Hurts. It's not a typical run team. And I think that's going to be really interesting how this team goes because the Panthers' defense is more of a pass rush, play against the ball than a traditional stop the run. And that's why they got smacked around by Dallas. And they need to put that in the rear view. They need to line up. They need to not get pushed around up front like they did. And they need to contain Jalen Hurts. Make him make mistakes.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts much more of a runner than Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
And Dak Prescott was able to kind of do whatever he wanted last week.
Yeah.
When he decided to run the ball. Jalen Hurts leading the Eagles in rushing, 226 yards with 1 touchdown, 6.5 yards per carry. Then Miles Sanders, only 37 attempts for 169 yards, but 4.5 yards a carry, has a couple of touchdowns. One of the guys I think is going to be interesting for them is Kenneth Gainwell, and he really sort of broke out last week. Rookie, I think, running back, but he's really impressive in the receiving game as well. He's got 19 carries, 13 receptions. So he's an interesting one to watch, and he's kind of I don't know how tall he is, but he seems like he's taller than your typical running back. No, he's only 5'9". So, but yeah, he's an interesting one to watch. But yeah, Jalen Hurts is going to be the real. Jalen Hurts throwing for 66% completion percentage, 1,167 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, having a pretty good statistical season.
Yeah.
Of course, they're 1-3, so he's not winning games. But Jalen Hurts may be okay.
Yeah, I'm actually more fearful about Jalen Hurts than I was originally expecting. You brought it up before the show. I did not like him coming out of the draft. I thought, it was way too early as a pick. I thought, watching him in Alabama and then Oklahoma, I just didn't really think he would translate to the NFL. I was wrong. He looks like he's doing well. Don't know why the Philadelphia Brass just kept trying to get rid of him in the offseason. Seemed like, hey, he had a decent rookie year. Why would you not ride with him since this team's in a rebuilding year? I'll probably get blasted on YouTube comments, but it seems they're in a rebuild. So,
and I will say, they have not had an easy schedule. They had Atlanta week 1, which was a blowout. They killed them 32-6. But then they faced San Francisco, Dallas, and Kansas City back to back. I mean, Hurts put up a ton of yards. A lot of those were garbage time yards, especially in the Dallas and Kansas City games. I mean, he had 326 and 387 through the air in those two games. So maybe a little bit of stat padding, in terms of when we just look at those numbers. Again, it's still pretty early in the season. But they've faced a tough schedule so far. I mean, San Francisco is not, great, but that defense is good.
Yeah.
So
it'll
be
be
interesting to see. I almost can see this 3-point spread.
Yeah, I mean, they have faced a lot better competition. I'll be very interested how this Panthers team responds to kind of getting some hype and then getting smacked around by Dallas, even though it was a one-touchdown game. But, I mean, that third quarter, that's one thing. On my matchups, I didn't put this, but Matt Rule and coaching staff versus halftime. Because whatever they're doing at halftime is not working. Their in-game adjustments seem to be working, but their halftime adjustments suck. And they need to get that corrected. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season.
And Matt Rule's talked a lot about that this week, really since the game. He's talked a lot about that third quarter, figuring out what it is. He said, they asked him flat out what it was. He said he didn't know that they just weren't executing. He said he thought they came out pretty well in the third quarter against Dallas. They moved the ball down the field. They tried the field goal, missed it. And then from then on, it was.
Well, yeah.
We saw what happened.
I mean, we said that was a key play because that missed field goal. It just everything from then just snowballed in that third quarter. But Sam Darnold himself, I think he's completing 40% of his passes in the third quarter this year. That's through 4 games. It's something ridiculously bad. Maybe Joe Brady needs to script the first 10 plays out of half like they do in the first quarter. Just go from there. Just script them.
Not a bad idea. Get Sam in a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just do some short passes, some, screens, run plays, a lot of run plays. That's not a bad idea. Just kind of start them off slow like we do in the games.
How do you think this O-line will fare against this defense? Because
I noticed that you don't have that as one of our matchups, but it kind of, I guess it's a legacy matchup at this point.
Yeah.
O-line versus anyone. I don't know. It depends on who plays.
They have not been very sack happy. They have only 8 sacks as a team for the season. I think our 2 defensive end may be close to that by themselves. Between Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick.
Of course, that, again, the Cowboys only had 4 coming into last week's game, and they got 5. So
yeah, that's true.
It really depends. Like, we're hoping that was just an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
But if we see that same type of aggressive defense against the Panthers O-line this week, I don't know that the Eagles, they certainly don't have the same high-end players, I think, that the Cowboys do on defense. But they do have Fletcher Cox, who's very good. They have a couple other guys that are pretty good. The Panthers O-line going to have to do something because last week wasn't going to cut it.
No.
Not at all. That's the worst we've seen them, and they haven't been good at all this season.
Yeah.
But that was by far the worst we've seen them.
Now,
I don't know.
I put this one down, but I don't even know. Panthers receivers versus Eagles secondary. Their secondary is pretty porous. So let me see here. They have Steven Nelson. We've already discussed Darius Slay, who's good, but he may not even play. Avonte Maddox. I guess they're middle of the road, according to PFF, but...
Well, again, they gave up 6 points in week 1. They gave up 17 points in week 2. And then they gave up 41 and 42 the last 2 weeks against those really high-powered offenses. So I don't think we're going to be as bad as San Francisco and only score 17. We're certainly not going to be as bad as Atlanta and only score 6. But I don't think we're going to put up 41 or 42.
No.
So the Panthers, they're just going to have to... I think if you hold Philly to 21 points or less, you win the game.
I do too. And it kind of stinks, though, or not stinks, but they're really bad against the run, and we're just not really good at the run. So we have to go against their defensive strength with is their passing game. I mean, they only give up 204 yards per game, which is 7th in the league. But that's also because
Passing yards per game?
Passing yards per game.
Okay.
And that's mostly because teams stop passing because they have a lead and they're just trying to drain the clock. So,
right. I mean, again, I don't want to harp on the schedule so much, but they got blown out in the last 2 weeks. So, again, like you said, they're not passing a lot in the second half. If CMC plays, then I have no... I think the Panthers can run all over the Eagles. Chuba, again, he hasn't had an opportunity to show a lot. So, he only played half of the Texans game, and then he only really played half the Dallas game. So, it might be fun to see him play a full game against a team that he should be able to run against.
Yeah.
The O-line's going to have to create the holes. That's been another problem. CMC's getting contacted a lot within the first yard. Now, he's making people miss. He's breaking tackles. Chuba, not so much so far. It's going to be interesting. But the final matchup here, we sort of talked about a little bit. Panthers pass rush versus Jalen Hurts escapability.
Yeah.
This is really again, we faced Dak Prescott last week. Not really a running quarterback, but he can get out of the pocket and run around.
He's a mobile
Jalen Hurts
quarterback.
Is a running,
yes.
But Jalen Hurts is a running quarterback.
Yes. No, this is the key matchup for me of the game. Key everything for this Panthers team. If you can contain Jalen Hurts into that pocket, force him into passing and rush him, but not make him happy feet, but not let him escape and hold him to 30, 40 yards rushing, you win this game. I think that's just point blank. They have Devontae Smith, who you and I love coming out of college last year. Jalen Reagor.
He's looked okay.
Yeah, but
Jalen Reagor, who we haven't, we didn't love.
Yeah. But for the most part,
but Devontae Smith is leading them in receptions, 18 receptions, 237 yards and a touchdown. So, they don't have a ton of talent in the receiving game. I mean,
Dallas Goedert. I mean, their tight end's good.
Dallas Goedert, he's okay.
Yeah.
He's not great. They got Zach Ertz, who's really old. He and Zach Ertz as a tandem have 26 catches together. They each have 13, and somewhere around 320 yards together. But
and the
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and also the coaching staff seem to be mismanaging, kind of from what I'm hearing. I'm not Philadelphia fans. I am not watching every one of your games, but from what I'm hearing is they're struggling with some of the basics of coaching in the NFL.
Beer bet of the week.
All right, so our beer bet of the week: 125 rushing yards for the Panthers, over or under?
Oh man, I wish I knew if CMC was playing.
Yeah, that's why it's a good one, because you don't know.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Okay.
I think Sam could have 75 to 80 himself. So I'm gonna go over.
Okay, I'll have to take the under. What was it? I said 125?
125.
Okay. So we could write that down so I can owe you money, because I do think they will go over, but
that's the good part of going first. You should have said 150.
Well,
that's what they give up.
That's what they give up, but the Panthers have really struggled on the ground, so I didn't want to.
Okay, you spotted me 25 yards. I appreciate that.
Yeah, even though I've lost every week this year so far.
It's good for the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
All right, bold predictions. Since I went first on the beer bet, you get to go first on your bold prediction.
I'm going to consistently go with this right now. DJ Moore is dominating. They tried to force the ball to Robbie Anderson last week. It did not work. But when they went to DJ, it worked. They're going to continue that route. DJ Moore has over 130 yards and 8 receptions this game.
Nice. I'm going to say that C.J. Henderson, with a full week of practice and, coming off a game where he did give up a big touchdown, comes back with a vengeance, does not give up a single reception against him, and has an interception.
Nice. Yeah. Good.
All right. Game predictions, score predictions. I guess it's my turn to go first. All right. I think the Panthers get back on the winning track this week. This is a game they should win. As not an opponent that is overmatching the Panthers in talent. In fact, I think the opposite is true. The Panthers have much more talent overall than the Eagles. So I think the Panthers, not only do they win, but they get right offensively in this game. First 30-point game for the Panthers. 32-20 Panthers.
I have 28 Panthers, Philadelphia Eagles 23. So
Okay,
I
so
did.
you think it's going to be kind of a close game?
I do. I've worried with Jalen Hurts, his escapability, because I know Brian Birds and Hassan Reddick love to just rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's almost the wrong way to treat Jalen Hurts. I think you have to be more of a contain rush with him.
It's a little worrisome that Shaq's not going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shaq is so fast, sideline to sideline. He's the guy that can track him down. Chin is that guy.
I think you drop Chin down in the box and you let him play. You put someone else back there in that safety role, who's back? Sam Franklin and Chandler back there, and you put Chin down there, or even Frankie Louvu sometimes, because he's very fast and he's honestly playing really good against the run. He's actually our best run stuffing linebacker currently. So
yeah, I expect to see a lot of Louvu in this game.
Mm-hmm. All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us at Twitter at MeowMix. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate that. Welcome to all the new watchers and listeners of the show, by the way. We've noticed our numbers increasing. That is awesome. We will be back on sometime Sunday evening to discuss the Panthers-Eagles game, unless Jerry just gets really impatient and decides to do it himself or with someone else. But we'll plan on being back Sunday evening. So until then, everyone, stay safe out there and keep pounding.